So one of the things that I've been doing a lot more of in the last few years is growing Asian greens. And this year I thought I would give it a go early in spring. In fact, I started them in February and planted them out at the beginning of March. And they've done absolutely fantastic both in the polytunnel and in my low tunnel. And yeah, I've been absolutely thrilled with them. I mean, they've been providing a really kind of robust harvest for salads and cooking at a time when, you know, the brassicas, you know, the traditional brassicas, leafy greens, kales and things are starting to come to an end. These have been in kind of maximum abundance. And they just look lovely and they're so crisp, and because they're new plants, you know, they just kind of got that vibrancy to them which old plants from last year just don't seem to have. Put up the varieties that I sowed at the side of the screen here so that you can see them, and it's been an interesting experiment for a couple of reasons. One is because all my overwintered Asian greens, the ones that I started sort of back in late August, early September, and I harvested those all through winter, they had pretty much all gone to seed by about, you know, sometime in January basically. And so I've kind of without Asian greens then, in theory, until kind of summertime, which is when you would then traditionally sow them. I thought I'd try getting some to grow successfully through spring, and I tried lots of different varieties as you've just seen, and I thought, you know, but people told me that no, that's not really going to work because they're just going to go to seed, but they haven't gone to seed. Now that might just be a fluke, or it might be a little trick that I tried, and I'll explain that to you now. So because I started these right at the beginning of February, I needed to grow them under grow lights. And of course, growing under grow lights, you have the opportunity to adjust the day length that they're experiencing. Now, I wanted these Asian greens, Pak Choys, to think that they were growing in autumn. And so I set the initial grow light levels to about September for day length, and then I gradually reduced them so that the plants felt that they were kind of growing through September and into October, and then I planted them out. Now, of course, light levels then started to increase, but for the first month of their life they were pretty convinced that they were growing in reducing light levels as per autumn. And so they were kind of, well, the theory is anyway, the experiment, the hypothesis was that that would fool them for long enough to get a good harvest out of them. And it did. There's only a couple of them that have gone to seed. 70 Day Improved is the main one that's gone to seed, but there's another one, I can't remember what it is, Welcome I think it is, and I'll show you those anyway. But they've still provided a lovely harvest because the seed heads obviously on Asian greens are really lovely, and the leaf harvest has been absolutely superb off those, even though they have again been going to seed. So it's worked, and none of the others have gone to seed yet, and we've been providing a fantastic mix of salad greens and cooking greens, and super crunchy as well. I mean, the health of them is just, yeah, it's just out of this world really, and that's why I like the Asian greens all year round, but particularly at this time of year, because we don't have that many really crunchy things in the salad mixes. Obviously we have radishes and things like that, but it's not the same. In terms of the leaves that are crunchy, we've only really got winter density lettuce. Everything else is nice enough leaves, but they don't really have that kind of summer crunch to them, but of course the Asian greens do. So let me just step you through the ones that we've got in the polytunnel and the low tunnel, and you'll see what I mean. So first one up is not a Pak Choy type of Asian green, but it is a kind of Asian kale. It's a variety called Kale, very quick growing. it is starting to go to seed a little bit, but I don't really mind because I've grown it in this a big container which is going to be used for my early courgettes. So I'm quite happy to finish the harvest of that this week and then move on. So this is the yellow Pak Choy. Huge, great leaves, absolutely massive. If anything, this is the one probably that I am least interested in at the moment. But it's not really ready for harvest yet, you know, because it's going to heart up a bit. So, you know, something that is kind of waiting for maybe another 2 or 3 weeks before it's harvest ready, that's the riskiest one perhaps to grow and it not go to seed on you. Whereas this one, which is the Joy Choy, is fantastic, and at the moment no sign of this one going to seed. We've been harvesting individual leaves off this, and come May time we'll take the whole plants out, but you can see already they've got these amazing crunchy stems on them, really wonderful. And then this one is 70-day improved, so this one is one that goes to seed basically in kind of 70 days, but these like tips here of a little bit of seed and leaf have been absolutely gorgeous, and the leaves are really nice, and you can see we've been harvesting those like crazy. And then the tatsoi has been amazing, absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I've harvested and harvested these. Almost all of it's gone into salads because I really like tatsoi in salads, although obviously you could use it for cooking as well. And then there's some more of the yellow Pak Choy down there, just planted a little bit later. But all of these were sown 3rd of February and planted out right at the beginning of March. And right now, as we're looking at this, it's the 15th of April, so they're at 6 weeks they've been in the ground. 6 weeks, what a crop. So now we're outside just looking at the little low tunnel, and the progress on these is slightly behind the ones in the big polytunnel, but not appreciably so. They're still really nice. We've got some red Pak Choy here. Again, we've been using this mostly in salads. I think this may be a taisai or something like that. Again, really big leaves, massive, incredibly crunchy stems. And then tatsoi again. Look at that tatsoi. Absolutely gorgeous. Little beetroots at the back there. And then here we've got Mizuna. I'm often not actually that big a fan of Mizuna in winter, but it's really nice in the salads in spring. And again, we've been picking that a lot. And then we've got this one, which I think is Welcome. And lovely leaves and such lovely colouring on the stems here. We've been using this one as a cooking green, kind of a bit like a really tender red cabbage. It's really lovely. And this one is one that has been going to seed fairly early, but it doesn't seem to have affected the leaf harvest. The leaves have still been really lovely. And some more of this 70-day improved, and again we've still got this in and we're still picking these little flower shoots. Now I do have a little ebook that goes through how I recommend growing and how I grow all of the Asian greens, all the different successions and things that I do, the different varieties that I grow, and it includes this little experiment that I've just done as well. So needs a few more years of repeating to be sure that it's not just favourable weather conditions this year, but we certainly haven't lacked plenty of warmth and sun, which you would think would trigger them to go to seed. Anyway, my name's Steve, this is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.